Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's a Netflix movie, Day Shift, with Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you feel like gambling, you can hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you. So best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. So I'm going to do a spoiler-free version of this first, and then we'll get into the spoiler version of it after that. So what is this movie? It's a vampire movie is really what it is. So it's a vampire hunting movie. So Jamie Foxx is a dude who hunts vampires in the valley. And the best way I can describe this, the feel of this movie is more along the lines of John Carpenter's Vampires, only not as stylized or polished. But it does feel like John Carpenter's Vampires. It's also kind of shot in the same way too, with some of the blown out, lighting and stuff like that. So it's also a comedy as well. So it's a comedy, action, horror, somewhere around those lines, right? Um, and that's really where it comes down to. Um, my whole thing I really didn't like is that Dave Franco is in it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dave Franco. You can read about all the allegations and stuff like that, and honestly, it's the same as his brother. So we're just gonna leave that aside. But he was the one thing I really didn't like in this whole movie. Everyone else is fine, although there are how shall we say this, very stereotypical women, the way they do this in this movie. And so it's very much an 80s. Honestly, you could have found this on any video store shelf in the 80s and 90s. And that's where this lives. Is it fun? It's okay. I mean, it has its moments. Uh it's not a great movie by any means. It's not a horrible movie either. Um Pence, I haven't finished it yet, but they make Dave look like a fool so far. Yeah, they do, but he's still a little weasel. So I'm just not a big fan of his. But so is it a bad movie? Not really. I've seen a lot worse. Especially on Netflix. Netflix has some really bad movies. So for a Netflix movie, it's good. Is it worth your time? It's 2 hours long. If you could cut about half an hour out of this movie, which you really could have, there's ways to excise it out, then it'd be worth it. Otherwise, it's a on the fence kind of thing. This is going to be a choose your own adventure, if you will, on this one. Some people are finding it a little bit hard to get through. Other people, I was able to get through it without having to think about it. It's one of those movies that you can just put on if you're going to go and, I don't know, do housework or something like that, and you just want some mindless violent action going on in the background. Some people like that kind of stuff, so this is for you at that point. It's bloody, yes. It's got a little bit of gore to it, and but it's nothing that's going to knock your socks off. So I'm mildly going with yes, it's worth your time, but also it can go to it's not worth your time. It's right there teetering on the edge. So that's the non-spoiler version of this. All right. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the movie. If you have not seen the movie, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Letting you hit pause, stop, whatever you need to do. Okay. There we go. So it's kind of funny. I was watching a couple of Adam Savage's videos here on YouTube, and he's got his channel tested. He's got a couple channels that he's working on there, and he answers viewers' mail, right? Because everyone sends him mail because of MythBusters and all that kind of stuff. They're asking him questions, and one of them, they're asking about movies, his favorite movies, and all that kind of stuff. And what is his pet peeve? What's his biggest pet peeve in movies? And one of them is when the characters say the name of the movie within the movie. And I forget which movie he said it was, but there's one that they say the name of the movie twice within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and it's not a common thing, the title of the movie. Well, Day Shift, they mentioned it a couple of times, and I started laughing because I had watched that. I want to say right before I watched Day Shift, and I started laughing about that because they do mention the name Day Shift quite a bit within the movie Day Shift, because that is a shift they give newbies, if you will, or people on probation in what's called the union. So Jamie Foxx's character is kind of works alone, hunting vampires, and he had been kicked out of something called the International Union of Vampire Hunters, where you can actually earn bigger money. So people earn money by pulling out vampire fangs after they've killed them, and the older the vampire, the more worth their fangs are. And of course, you get money for one fang, but of course, for two fangs, you get more money. So he was selling it kind of on a black market to Peter Stamari. Peter Stamari's in this movie as well. He doesn't really play a great character. This was more of a cash cow. You could tell Peter Stamari was just in it for the quick cash. Same thing with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's in it pretty much for the quick cash on this one as well. He's in it enough, but not enough to kind of warrant uh, saying, "Oh, this is a great Snoop Dogg movie," or a great character that he played. Eh, eh, that's all I can say. Dave Franco's character he's a union accountant, and he needs to go with Jamie Foxx's character, who's named Bud Jablonski. That's what his name is. And Bud, of course, is divorced from his wife, and they have a little girl. And he's never told his wife or a little girl what he does for a living. They think he's a pool cleaner. So that's where this all comes about. Um, and of course, there's a big plot going on of a elder vampire who is posing as she's a real estate agent in the valley. She is basically buying up homes to bring vampires in to live amongst humans so they can feed amongst humans. And the one thing I did like about this is they actually do set up a little bit of a world with the International Union of Vampire Hunters and vampires themselves. So you have a couple different classes of vampires, and they all have differences amongst them. And like uber vampires are hard to kill. You can decapitate them and they could still live. Which of course what happens to Dave Franco's character later on is he becomes a vampire, an uber vampire. He gets his head cut off, but he still lives and he's able to put his head back on it, you know. Anyway. An interesting note here, we do get Natasha Lou Bordizzo playing a vampire. Basically, she's an unwitting vampire from the head vampire there who's trying to get at Jablonski. And if you don't know who she is going to be Sabine Wren in the live action Ahsoka series. So this is really kind of our first look at her, and I'm okay with it, but not, yeah. This really was not a vehicle for her. Like I said, this really played out like an 80s movie, 80s, 90s movie, somewhere around there. Um, yeah, it wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't horrible either. So yeah, the whole thing with Mayan or Incan ruins underneath LA, and that's where humans used to worship vampires, but of course they turned against them. And this elder vampire played by and I'm just blanking on her name right now, Carla Souza. She plays Audrey, Audrey San Fernando, San Fernando Valley. And she is supposed to be bringing. She wants to bring vampires back as gods, kind of thing, amongst humans. Okay. The plot was half baked. It's really you're just watching this for vampire kills and the action scenes. That's what you're looking at. What else has she been in, Pen? I can tell you because I have the IMDb up. Da, da, da. Nothing that I know of. Uh, El Presidente, How to Get Away with Murder. Um, yeah, and then there's a lot of Spanish television from what it looks like. Um, yeah, so there you have it. So nothing that I know of. Megan Good, who plays Bud's wife, she does a good job in it, but she just doesn't have enough to do really in this. So, yeah, like I said, it's not a really good role for any of the female characters in here at all. Hey, Chaka's Cave, how's it going? Yeah, she might have reminded you of someone else, or maybe you saw some telenovelas that you recognized her in. I don't know, Pen. Who knows? So, is it worth your time? Again, like I said, on the fence about that one. Um, it can go either way depending on your like of cheesy movies. I like. I actually just went and watched last night. It's on Amazon Prime. Stay Tuned, which is a '90s movie, 1992 to be exact, with John Ritter and Pam Dauber. Um, and that was one of those things that it's dated. I mean, there's you know, let's just say there are cliches and stereotypes just don't fly today that are in there, and yeah, that's where there is. And this movie Day Shift would be perfect for those guys who go woke all the time. It's woke, that kind of bullshit because it stars a female character, and this one doesn't star a female character, so their masculinity is not threatened. I'm sorry, but yeah, if you're using woke all the time as a verb, you don't know what it means. So there we go. But back onto this. Oh, and by the way, the guy who wrote this, I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden because uh, J.J. Perry, he's the director of this. He is also part of the John Wick crew. So you could tell there's a lot of action sequences. The best action sequence out of all of this is the hive. They end up in a nest in the valley, and they're killing a whole bunch of vampires that are just in the walls, literally in the walls. So they're popping down out of the ceiling, they're popping through the walls, and Jamie Foxx's character, along with two guys that are also vampire hunters, that he just teams up with on the fly there because they're there as well to hunt vampires. The Narzizian brothers or something like that. I can't remember. There we go. Nazarian brothers. And that's actually a pretty good action sequence. It's literally like a video game of vampires coming out from everywhere and just different kills, different acrobatics. You have a lot of contortionists that are going on. So you've got people with their legs bending over the back of their heads and whatnot. So yeah, like I said, it's something that if you're gonna do some housework or you just want something that's gonna be on that's gonna be mindless and you don't mind the blood and gore and the violence, that's for you there. Yes, I agree with you, Raymond. Jamie Foxx does look like he did 20 years ago. Do I know if he did his own stunts? I don't. Although there wasn't very many stunts for him to do. I take that back. There were some rope stuff, where he gets pulled because he gets punched a lot by some vampires you know, and kicked along the floor and gets pushed back that way. So I'm guessing those were stunt doubles because they're not going to do that to Jamie Foxx. I think he's pushing 50 now, right? I mean, I believe he is. I want to say oh yeah, he's way over 50 now at this point. He's 1967. So, yep. So yeah, he's not doing those stunts. I know Keanu Reeves likes doing those stunts, and he's also around my age. He's just nuts though doing those stuff. But yeah, I don't know if Jamie Foxx is doing the rope stuff where he's getting dragged, flying through the air, or getting dragged along the floor. But that was pretty much what he did. His character, I should say, what happened to his character. So there you have it. I was kind of hoping a little bit more for this movie, but there you go. It's Netflix. I probably shouldn't really be expecting all that much, you know. Sorry, I'm just looking to see what the dog is doing, something weird that she shouldn't be doing over there. Anyway, what else do I have for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be a double header. It's going to be She-Hulk and then Harley Quinn. That's right, She-Hulk and Harley Quinn back to back. Friday is going to be Resident Alien. Saturday I'm going to be off. Is that right? Yeah, Saturday I am off. Sunday is going to be the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And we talk about it. Monday will be House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon starts on Monday. Tuesday I'll be off next week, and then Wednesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. Most likely it'll be Lock and Key season 3, the final season of Lock and Key. Yeah, I think that's where we're at there. So, with that said, I'm probably going to let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithm of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button. And if you can't, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. Raymond says, can't make it. She-Hulk and Harley Quinn are too woke for me. Yeah, I don't blame you, Raymond. I mean, too woke. It's woke. My favorite, the go what is it? Go woke, go broke. Is that what? Yeah, that's their slogan. And I'm like, oh, okay. Usually there's Confederate flags involved, and a lot of sister fuck. I mean, I should say inbreeding. But yeah, there you go. Thursday is now girls' night. Yeah, it is. It pretty much is. I'm hearing some really good things about She-Hulk right now. In fact, one of the writers of She-Hulk, basically the guy who's written the most comic book episodes or comic books of She-Hulk, on Twitter, he actually said he's seen the first 4 episodes and he highly approves of it. He says it's a blast, is what he said. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, like I said, this is one of my favorite Marvel characters. It's one of the characters I've been most looking forward to seeing in live action. I wish it was Dave Franco's wife instead, Allison Brie, but I'll take Tatiana Maslany as well as Jennifer Walters. So, but yeah, that's my only quibble about it, and it's a minor quibble. I mean, you know, and God, I saw her. I think she was on the red carpet for this, and she had a totally different look. She completely changed her look again, and I was like, this woman is a fucking chameleon. She really is. She changes her look. I know she did it for Orphan Black, where she imbued every single character, even though they're supposed to be clones, with different personalities, different looks, different styles of walking, different styles of talking, different styles of movement. I mean, that's a great actress. That really is. Just a great actor in general. I mean, male or female, or other, or whatever, whatever pronoun you want to use at that point. So, with that said, I really am going to let you go. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get you may need to make sure you've actually put that silver string up or silver chain up at about neck height, and just make sure you actually, if you're getting a short vampire, that you put it down low enough so it actually gets their neck, because sometimes that happens. You never know. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night. Stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. They don't work without the boosters. And I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night, and stay safe out there, everyone. Thanks. Have a good night.